Yeah, what is this? Building a blog. Yeah, I know that we have given a pretty long break for this, but yeah, so finally we are back. So let's get started without any further ado, okay? So in this episode, we are going to start building the UI. Okay, so if you check my previous episode, like if you watch it till the previous episode, it's all about APIs. Okay, so we just completed the APIs for posting uh, the blog post and also the uh, authorization stuff. Okay, so for that we're gonna build a UI. Okay, so let me go to my code here. Yeah, so if you remember in the APIs, guys, so we just got the coding pretty much done. Okay, so I just at the end of the last episode I just said we're gonna start building the UI. So for the next few episodes from this one, it's only about building the UI. Okay, so what does building UI involves? Okay, so this is the UI we have been built till now, made till it's really a long break. So it's about like logging in, logging out, and registering for the blog, and also you could have a change password. Okay, so those are the few things you could do with this UI. So I don't say I'm building a beautiful UI, but I'm building a simple UI so user can interact. Okay, so it's not a great one, but the basic one. Okay, so now in this episode we are going to cover uh, dynamic dashboard. Okay, so what happens here? Okay, so if you check my dashboard right now, it's static. Okay, I just only placed two buttons. If you say one button is to change the password and the other one is to log out the user. So but the question is, user has many privileges. Okay, so this API here, getClaims, gives me all the list of services a user who has logged in can access. So for example, the person who has logged in right now can access all these services. Okay, so now I want to make sure only these services are displayed on the dashboard. Okay, so he should be able to see only these things on the front end. Okay, so among these we're gonna also filter few of the stuff. So but I'm gonna show you how we could do that. Okay, so now let's go. So everything is done in the components if you do remember the old code. Okay, so if you're not, make sure you just check the previous episodes and come back here, so it will be a little easier. Okay, so yeah, so it's like only two things here. Okay, so we're not going to use any framework, so it's a completely based on HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay guys, so I'm not using any kind of other dynamic based programming languages. Okay, so frameworks actually. Okay, so it's a simple HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So now I'm going to write a function. Okay, function get services. So this service is going to make a call to the API and get the method. So I'm going to use the fetch from now on instead of using third-party APIs. Okay, so it's I just want to condense myself to the native rather than going for frameworks. Okay, so whatever code we have done earlier, you could do with this things, or you could replace this present code that I'm going to write. Okay, so fetch, and I'm going to have a URL. Okay, so in the fetch URL fetch, I'm going to pass a URL in it. Okay, so the URL is this thing, http localhost blog. Yeah, so that's the URL we're gonna pass. Okay, so and then we could have a body. Okay, so the body indicates the data, input data we are passing to it. So if you check, we are not passing any data, because when you hit this API, even with the post or a get method, so what it does is in the cloud, in the server, in the API, it's going to invoke the function which is going to retrieve the users who has logged in with in the particular session. Okay, so it's no big deal, we could leave that. So then, so fetch is a promise function, so we could have a then method here. Okay, and then we could have a catch method here. Okay, so if it doesn't know about promise functions in JavaScript, please go check it out. Okay, so you just need to know that stuff. Okay, so rest, I'll just keep it like that, and in the catch I'll catch the error. Okay, uh, so assume if you want a simple note, like promise function is like asynchronous function. Okay, so it is same as this function, but the syntax varies. Okay, it comes with ES6 standards. Okay, so I'm gonna console log the error, log of error, and here it's console dot log of res. Okay, so now uh, yeah, so we have to call this function. Okay, so this function is only called uh, from here. Okay, so I'm gonna just use the script here, remove this. Yeah, so if you go to back to my Chrome here, console, and yeah, so if I refresh the page, in a bit you're gonna see get services not defined. That's really bad. Why does it not defined? Okay, so we're importing the dashboard script.js, so let's change this to version 2.2. Okay, let's refresh. Yeah, so you could see I just hit the get claims and we get some data here. So we have to check inside the body, like, so I need to convert the given data into JSON. So if I say res.json of, okay, did I say? Yeah, I, I'll make sure I'm just saving it. So promise is pending because when you hit this it is a JSON. So I'll just keep it like this. Okay, so if you want to write multiple thens, you could write like this. Okay, so it's like a nested or multiple thens, whatever you want to call it, res.json. Okay, so now what happens here, it is the fetch is gonna fetch from the URL, and when it hits the URL, uh, I will get some result. Okay, some response from the server. So since I'm using REST APIs, I'm converting that into the JSON format. So this also will be a promise. Okay, since this is a promise, so this singular function will return the promise value to the next or the nested then. Okay, so technically it is here returned. Okay, so if I say this and if I refresh the page, yeah, so you could see now I got my actual data. So this data contains an array. Okay, so this array right here is containing all these services we need. Okay, so now the whole thing here we're gonna do is we're gonna use this. Okay, so we're gonna since this is an array, that's really good, we could use the JavaScript's map functions and filter this stuff. Okay, so the first thing you have to make sure is only the root elements are displayed here. So the root elements are these ones. Okay, so which is having a parent as null, those are considered as root elements, which is like high prioritized. Okay, so we could do that. So if I just comment that and just get the data equal to rest.data. So now I just want to filter only the root elements. Okay, so I'll just say const root equal to data dot filter. So I'll get a service, right? So every time I'll be getting a service, so the filter, so it's an iterator. Okay, service dot, okay, so which is a parent, right? So service dot parent. Yeah, let's console log the root right now and see what is the output, okay, of this. If I refresh, empty. Okay, that's not great. Parent not equal to null. Hold on a sec. Yep, 14. Okay, holy moly. Yep, service underscore parent. Okay. Yeah, so you got 12 elements, okay, which are not having parent, but we need to make sure those are null. Okay, so if I click it is null, I'm gonna get only two. So there are only two root elements, one is comments and the other one is post. Okay, so we're gonna display these two things here. Okay, for now. So how do we do that? Okay, so if you come here, the syntax, okay, the syntax of these things, okay, it is gonna have an anchor tag. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, I'll just copy it here for the reference. Okay, okay, So this is how we built our dashboard. Okay, it's an anchor tag which is having a href and then having a button in it. Okay, so that's how we do it right now. Okay, so first I'm gonna uh, map these things. Okay, root dot map of service. So instead we could also do this. So I'll do it from here. Yeah, so map and service. Since the filter is applied, the iterator will pass over there. Okay, so first I need to create an anchor tag. Constant anchor tag a equal to document dot create element of fields. One, we need an anchor tag and we also need a button. So I'm going to create both of them here. So I'm using a simple JavaScript thing here. Okay, it's a dynamic creation, so I'm just doing it from this scrap. That's it. Okay, nothing to uh, do it here. Button. Now, so inside that button we need to have the plain text. So button dot inner text. Okay, so we're going to for inner text, and inside the text I'm going to put the service dot service dot name. Okay, sorry, service dot name. And for the and we need to put this button inside the anchor tag. So a dot append, okay, append of button. So we're gonna take this button and put inside the anchor tag that we have created, and anchor dot href is always equal to. Okay, so now we need to get to the present directory. From the present directory we have to go over this root element. Since this is the root element, uh, uh, the anchor tag will be similar. Okay, so I'll just put it like this in a better way. So blog slash, okay, so in a plus icon, service dot name dot to. Okay, so okay, hold on, I remember something like dot to. Yeah, so this is what we have to do. So we need to convert the given characters to lowercase. So haven't remembered that exactly, so to local lowercase. Yeah. So once we are done with anchor tag, so we're gonna return that anchor tag. Okay, return. So what it's gonna collect is, it's gonna collect all these anchor tags inside the root. Okay, so this is the thing which is gonna collect all the stuff. Okay, so once I have collected all the anchor tags, simply I have to insert them here. Okay, so like somewhere in here. Okay, so here I'll just I could insert somewhere around here. Okay, so for that I'll use the body tag here. Okay, so I'll just put a div tag here. Okay, instead it will be really good. I'll give this an id equal to content. Okay, so let's say it's a dashboard. Okay, so I'll copy all these things inside it. Okay. So now only thing I have to do is get the ID of this dashboard, and that's it. Okay, I'm gonna append that. Okay, so once I come across this document dot get element by ID of body, so we just did like dashboard, right? Dashboard dot append of. Okay, okay, so I'm gonna put this inside this map function, so even we need not return all these arrays. So returning an array, it's not a big deal. So once it is done, it is done. Okay, so everything will be inserted into here. Okay, let's see how it goes. So ER is not different. Okay, some errors. That's great. ERR. Okay, so we got an error. If I refresh, should pop up in icon to lowercase. I know. I don't think it's a local. It's just a local. Okay, it's not name. It's service underscore name. That's my bad. Okay, if I refresh, yeah. So you could see, guys. Now I'm getting comments and posts also. Yeah, this is really great. Yeah, really great. Okay, so if I take this script and put it in here, that would do the trick. Yeah, yeah. So now we are loading these comments and posts. Okay, so that's one part of doing it. So now we have to load the subcontinents of these comments and posts, so which will be done in the next coming episode, guys. So for this episode, this is how we do it. So we have used the created API to build the front end. Okay, so I don't think this is a pretty good interface to for a user, or if you want to publish your blog. So you have to try it better, but I'm just trying to show you how to use the API. Okay, that's the only matter of fact here. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So meeting you in the next episode. I'll be meeting you definitely. Bye bye, peace out.